Hello, it's been a while since I've done a tour of what's flowering in the gardens, and it's late August now, so I thought I'd show you. As you can see, I've got a lot of things flowering, so I'll take you in and show you everything. I look back at the last little tour I did, which was kind of middle of June, I think, and I was just explaining how I was going to underplant the Orlea with some grasses because I knew that the Orlea wouldn't last that long. And that's worked really well, as you can see. This is Panicum violaceum, and it's this beautiful plumy dark purple and green grass, and that's doing really well. Coreopsis, this is part of a mix, so there's a brighter yellow one and a paler yellow one. I do love the pale yellow. Well, I like them both, but I think I prefer the pale yellow. And I am going to harvest some of this to do some printing on fabric, so that will be another video coming up soon. Next door, I've got some mignonette, which you grow for the foliage, and I've used quite a bit of it. I've picked some to dry. It's kind of going over a bit now, but I think I'm going to collect seed from that. I've got so many things dotted about because as some plants went over, I just, whatever I had, I'd bung them in. So I've got a few asters here, the annual asters, and I'll do a close-up of these because they are the most beautiful shade, just a sort of light smoky lilac-y cream. And that, I'm not sure what that is. It could well be a weed, but it looks so sort of strong and healthy, and it's got flowers just coming, and I'm quite intrigued to see what it is because I don't know. I tried doing the Google Photos thing, and I can't even remember what that said. It was just too general and didn't come up with anything specific. Next to them, I've got some perennial limonium, sea lavender, that lovely frothy plant, but I don't think that's going to flower this year. And I've got a lot of statice, which is doing really well. Again, I've been picking some of it to keep for drying. And at the end here, you might be able to see, I'll do a close-up. I've got this lovely clary sage, which just keeps going, keeps going. I used a lot of the pink for a wedding that I was doing the flowers for. So actually this is quite a useful tip. What I did, because I'm lucky because I've got fridge space in my garage, we've got an old fridge freezer down there, I was worried it might be going over, getting a bit brown. I picked it about 10 days before the wedding and stripped the lower leaves, put it in a little bit of water and put it in the fridge, and it was absolutely fine. Because it's more a sort of bract than a flower, it's quite tough. It's not one of those delicate flowers, and I was really pleased with how that lasted. And then quite a few weeds in there, but I'm not going to worry about them. And then this bed has just been absolutely amazing. Again, when I was looking back at the other video, I couldn't believe how empty it looked compared to how it's been now. So at this end, we've got a mixture of Madam Butterfly Snapdragon, and it's just been absolutely fantastic. I've had so many flowers off this already, and I like all the colours. I guess the red, I think it's a really pretty colour, but red can be, I always find it a little bit difficult mixing with other flowers, other colours I should say, but I do like all of them, and I'll definitely grow that again. And the scabious, this is a mixture of a single variety called either Black Cat or Black Knight. They seem interchangeable to me. And then a mixture called QIS, not quite sure what that stands for, and that's had the lavender ones and these darker pink ones and a sort of mid salmony pink you might be able to see over there. And in between, I've had some annual phlox, which I picked quite a lot of that the weekend. But I'll do a close-up so you can see there are a few there. Beautiful creme brulee, and I'm getting good height on those now because they take a while to. The first flowers are really kind of short and wimpy. You can still use them, but just in like little jam jar posies. But now they're getting longer. All right, I'm deadheading as I go. As you can see, I've got so many flowers And this has given me an idea. This will probably be my next video. It's been quite warm here today, and things are going to go over quite quickly, so I'm going to pick loads. I've got a couple of orders to do for tomorrow, and so I'm going to pick for that, but I'm just going to keep picking because I've got just to keep things going, because if you stop picking or deadheading, and I'd rather pick them and use them than wait till they go over. So that might be quite fun. There seems to be a bit of a thing on YouTube of, I mean, more professional flower growers than me making huge bouquets, sort of as big as possible. So I think I might do that. I think that would be quite fun. So look out for that. And I've got, these are Zinnia Benary's Giant. That was a mixture, and I have had a lot of, I mean, they are beautiful, the yellow and the red, but they're not the easiest flowers to mix with other things. Obviously they look lovely with these, which are Rudbeckia. They go fantastically with those. So I think maybe next, I'll definitely grow the variety again, but I think I'm going to pick out some of the individual colours. But I mean, they're incredible. They're just so strong, so tall, and the flowers themselves last for ages. So as well as the Madam Butterfly snapdragons, that I've also grown a lot of the Potomac lavender, because they do just have a sort of slight bluey pink that is lovely compared with the sort of more salmony pink. So that's the sort of mid-pink scabious. And then this is a perennial Achillea. I think it's just called Red Shades, and it comes, like it says, it comes in all different shades. And as it fades, it's actually more usable, because you don't want to use it when it's just coming out or it will wilt. So you can use it when the flowers are starting to fade, and it will keep that colour. And they look really pretty, and it's nice to have a flat element if you've got lots of round daisy type or scabious, and you've got your spikes, which could be your snapdragon. It's lovely to have a sort of flat element in it as well. And then the Rudbeckia is a mixture of Goldilocks and one called Chimney, which has got a lovely sort of brown tinge to it. And they just keep coming and are fantastic. I think that's everything in that bed. I have got a few pink zinnias at the end here. Again, I'll do close up. So I just can't believe, and we've got a few clary sage in there as well. I just can't believe how well everything is growing. I'm not feeding it. It still had the cow manure that I put in when I made these beds 2 years ago. And when I was planting this year, I could see quite a lot of it hadn't completely broken down. So I thought, well, there's no point adding more if that's going to break down and provide goodness. And obviously, there's the result. And then this bed has got a real mixture of things as well. We've got grasses in the middle, so some more panicum. A lot of, that's another panicum, the Frosted Explosion, that's just fantastic. Dries beautifully and just gives a bouquet a real frothy look. I've got a few green auroch that you grow for the seed heads. This, I wish I didn't have so much of this, because it was supposed to be a variety called Coral Fountain, so I thought it was going to be paler. I mean, I do like it, but I just don't need so much of it. So that's what. It's not exactly a failure, because it's growing really well. I just don't find I go to it that much when I'm putting flowers together. And then I've got a few more snapdragons there that are just, they were sown a bit later, so they're just coming into their first flush. I've got a few Bells of Ireland that are doing really well now. It's a bit late. You know, most people sow them in the autumn and then you get them early summer. Mine didn't do very well, so I sowed them again in the spring, and I'm getting them now. And then at the back there you can see straw flowers, which I must start picking from. And beyond that there's some more Coreopsis in a sort of pinkier shade. And then this bed at the back, as you can see, I've grown some sunflowers that are just the ones that the sort of pollen-free ones. They're the sort of the florist ones. But this is a variety, I can't quite remember its name, but as you can see, judging by all the bees on it, that one's definitely got pollen. and I haven't been able to bring myself to pick them because the bees are enjoying it so much, but I will. And then behind that I've got some, it's called Sweet Annie. It's a native American plant that a lot of growers there grow, because, and it's, I think it's called it's a type of Artemisia annua, known as Sweet Annie, because it's got a lovely, oh, it's really nice, sort of herbal, fresh scent. So I've got some Nicotiana, which is the green one, which has been very slow to get going, but looks like it's just going to really grow well now. Beyond that, I've got some more statice, so I did a second succession of that. And then this bed, so the foxgloves didn't flower this year, but I'm growing them on here, and I'll move them probably into the main flower bed. And then the auroch, which had got really chewed up by slugs and snails earlier in the season. I think they were sort of living between the bed and the wall there, but it's just starting to produce the lovely plumes. And I've got some Nicotiana in there that have been a bit stumpy, but are now just are starting to get a bit taller. And another thing I'm really pleased about is I had to replace the eucalyptus, but as you can see, it's really growing. So I'm actually picking from it now, because I don't want it to get too big and the leaves too big, because you know, they can get absolutely huge. So I'll probably cut it down and use all those, but I might use some of the leaves I might use some of the leaves in wreaths as well. And then I don't know if you can see along here, I've got so much self-seeded panicum, frosted explosion, because it must have exploded and put seeds everywhere. And I put this cardboard down. I had a good weed, put the cardboard down to just try and keep it manageable for the rest of the season. But there were these clumps of grasses, and I've left those because I can pick from them. So I quite like the view from here. Let me take you up again. So I'm really happy with how this season has gone. I am going to do at some point I'll do, it might be on Instagram, a sort of hit and miss, which things I've really enjoyed and would definitely grow again, and which things I might not. You might have a few suspicions of what would be included. But it's been a good season. This is the second season in this area, and you're always learning. So I'll do things a bit differently next year. But anyway, if you watch my next video, you'll see me cutting a lot of these and then making a really big bouquet. So I hope you'll join me for that.